Ford's CEO is at it again. This time, he's telling you not to fix your own car. And if you try, you might get hurt.
But you don't want people repairing their own vehicles.
No, that's fine. Not for warranty work, though. These are very complicated cars, and we don't think that's safe for many of the repairs on our vehicles. Someone at home like myself could never do it. I mean, I have no problem working on a 73 Bronco. To work on a brand new Bronco, I need all sorts of specialty tools. That's something that, we would put people's lives at risk.
And the internet did not take that well. Here's what a few people had to say. So in other words, the CEO of Ford is saying, don't buy our cars. Basically, what I got from that statement is the new Bronco is unsafe. I need all sorts of specialty tools. We know. Because you made it this way. And my personal favorite, owning a Ford can kill you. Ford CEO. And here's the thing. These comments aren't just funny. They're smart. Because people can see exactly what's going on. And when you dig deeper, Farley sounds less like an out-of-touch CEO and more like someone executing a carefully organized plan. Because every reason Farley gives for not working on your own car points to one place. The dealership. Now, let's be fair to Jim for a second, because he's not all wrong. A new truck really is more complicated than a 1973 Bronco. There was no software on a 73 Bronco, and you didn't need any special tools to fix it. I'll give him that part. But listen to the way he says it, like he had nothing to do with these decisions. Cars just got complicated. Now you need special tools. Gee, how'd that happen? Here's the problem. Farley isn't some innocent bystander. He's describing the road he paved. The software, the special tools, it's only gotten worse over his watch. And here's another part of Farley's story that doesn't add up. Because at the same time he's telling you not to fix your own Ford, Ford did something it had never done in over 100 years. It set the all-time US vehicle recall record with 153 recalls in a single year. These recalls affected almost 13 million Ford vehicles. The old record was 77, set by GM back in 2014. Ford didn't just break the record, it nearly lapped it. So let me get this straight. The company telling you you're not capable of fixing a Ford just set the national record for building ones that needed fixing. Of course, Ford's got a response rehearsed and ready. They doubled their safety team, so they're just catching problems faster. Maybe. But here's the part you couldn't make up, even if you tried. Ford recalling more than 389,000 cars because the first recalls were done incorrectly. That's right. This month, Ford had to call almost 400,000 vehicles back in. Focuses, F-150s, Mustangs, Lincoln Navigators, because the recall repairs they'd already done were done wrong the first time. These aren't new defects. They're the same ones Ford already brought these owners in to fix once. 250,000 are Focuses with a valve that can stall the engine. Repaired back in 2018, but still not right. So much for catching problems faster. Ford can't even close out the recalls it already has. And here's the kicker. Nearly all of these don't get a new part. They get a software update. Even that stalling valve on the Ford Focus, the fix is updating the software that controls it. So when Farley says these cars are getting too complicated to fix, I agree with him. They've gotten too complicated for even Ford to fix on hundreds of thousands of cars. But here's the part that makes me wonder if Farley's tone-deaf comments are actually part of a larger plan. Because every one of them points back to a business problem he's trying to solve. And it's a big one. Last year, Ford pulled in record revenue, $187 billion, but it still lost money. More than $8 billion in a single year, because selling cars barely turns a profit. And believe it or not, that's true all the way down to the dealer. A brand new car carries a markup of just 2 to 5%. And once the lot covers its costs, the new car department often makes almost nothing. It's high volume, cutthroat, and razor thin. So if you're the CEO of Ford and realize you can't make money selling cars, where do you go hunting for profit? A guy who works on these trucks every day says he knows the answer.
So now Ford and GM are saying they don't want us to work on their vehicles? Good. We don't want to work on their junk anyway. But let me tell you what's really going on. You see, when Ford builds and sells a truck like this, they don't make very much off the sale of the truck. I mean, the dealership gets a piece of it, the salesman, a whole lot of people get a piece of the action. So Ford doesn't have much meat left on the bone. So what do? Well, they try to make it up with repairs in the dealership and by selling parts for their crappy car. And nobody likes going to the dealership to get their cars repaired anymore because they overcharge, they don't tell you the truth, and they upsell everything. But this way, they could force you to go to the dealership so they could get the money for the repairs. The answer's simple. They're under-designing them in the factory and then making you pay for the repairs later on so they can make more money.
I think that mechanic is right on. According to the National Automobile Dealers Association, that service and parts counter pulls in about $10 million a year at the average dealership. Parts get marked up by 50, 100%. Labor's billed at $200 an hour. And you come back over and over, because if you own a Ford, it's probably getting recalled. And that back room is the most profitable real estate Ford has. So now Farley's speech makes a lot more sense. He's not protecting you, he's protecting Ford's business model, funneling as many people as he can through the parts and service window. Is that the actual business plan? I can't tell you what's inside Farley's head. But if some guy with an internet connection and a YouTube channel can see where the profit is, you can bet a building full of Ford accountants can see it too. So back to those 13 million recalls, because here's the twist. All those recalls could actually be helping Ford's bottom line. I know how that sounds. When you hear recall, you figure it's bad news for Ford. Those repairs are free to the customer, and it ties up the service base. But more often than not, these recalls aren't blown engines or bad brakes. They're software glitches, like the backup camera bug that froze the screen on over 1 million F-Series trucks. But even though Ford can't charge you for a recall, it does something else that's extremely valuable to the company. It gets you in the door of the dealership. Yet another on-ramp to the service window. Industry reports say 9 out of 10 people show up when they get a recall notice. And once they're in, 40% approve extra repairs while they're there. It's the single most reliable way to pull a customer back into the service lane. Because once you're up in that lift for a free recall, the inspection conveniently finds other things. Brakes, tires, a fluid flush, and that upsell can generate way more revenue than it costs the dealer to fix the recall. It's one of the most reliable on-ramps they've got to dealer repairs. To be clear, I'm not telling you Ford recalls cars just to sell you repairs. I can't prove that, and I don't believe it. What I am saying is that whatever's causing a record number of recalls might actually benefit Farley. But recalls are just one of the roads in, and after you start looking, you begin to see a lot more. Take something as basic as your key. Tell me if this has ever happened to you. You lose your key or it breaks. Used to be. You'd walk into a hardware store and get one cut for $20. Not anymore. A modern Ford key has a chip inside that has to be matched to the truck's anti-theft computer. And to pair it, you need Ford's software and a dealer-level tool. So that last key isn't a few bucks anymore. The parts chain AutoZone says a new car key, once it's programmed, can run up to nearly $1,000, plus a tow if it was your only one. And on the newest models, Ford's been quietly pulling the workarounds. So even the locksmith who used to save you a couple $100 can't always help. They turned a $20 key into a $1,000 dealer visit. But it's not just your key. Take warranty work. Farley says he's all for fixing your own car, just not anything under warranty. Too dangerous, he says. But here's the part he conveniently leaves out. Warranty work isn't all brakes and airbags. A lot of it is a worn piece of trim, a faulty dust cover, stuff that couldn't put anyone in danger. So if a lot of the warranty work isn't dangerous, why should it be off limits to you? When you step back from the keys, the warranties, the recalls, and look at the bigger picture, you see what Ford is really building. And this isn't me reading between the lines. Farley laid this out himself.
We needed to get serious about treating our vehicles like digital devices and wrap more services around our business. So it was a huge transformation in the last 5 years. And I would say we're about in the middle of things.
There it is. Treat the car like a device. Wrap the services around it. That's the plan, in his own words. Because that's the real shift, from owning your truck to buying into someone else's business model. Sure, it's still your name on the title, but you can't diagnose it, can't fix it. Sometimes can't even update it without going through them. That's not ownership. That's a subscription with a steering wheel. The way I see it, there's one road that doesn't end at Ford's service counter. You, with a wrench, in your driveway on a Saturday afternoon. That's the one repair they don't get a dime of. So the next time a CEO tells you your car's too complicated to fix, just remember who made it that complicated and who gets paid to keep it that way.